Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pairfect, a show by Daily Tribune that features top personalities in various fields of endeavor. I am Dinah Ventura.
And I'm Jojo Silvestre.
Joining us today is a top restaurateur whose company, Foodee Global Concepts, is among Manila's largest multi-brand F&B groups. Foodee started from homegrown dining concepts, then ventured into bringing international brands into the country. Please meet Eric D., Chief Operating Officer of Foodie Global Concepts.
Thank you,
Hi,
Dina.
Eric.
Thank you, Jojo, for
Yeah,
having me on the
yeah.
show.
Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Ang galing naman.
Thank
Yeah,
you for having
yeah.
me.
We're
Thank
going to
you
be
for having
talking
me.
about
Yeah.
dining and food in
Yes.
Manila, Metro
And we
Manila,
have a
in the
young
Philippines.
executive.
I know.
Yeah.
So
Young
young.
at
Entrepreneur.
heart.
So I understand that you're working with your dad because he founded the company,
Correct.
the famous Ricky D.
Ricky D.
Yes. So how is your relationship with your dad? The responsibilities, how do you divide these responsibilities?
Well, the relationship with my dad is, I think, at the best at it that it's ever been, right?
Okay.
I think growing up as a child, of course, you have your teenage rebellious years wherein
Yes.
you wanted to test your limits. So obviously, during those times, we butted heads. But I was exposed to the business early on, as I mentioned earlier
Yes.
when we were talking. I was pretty much born in a restaurant. So my
Yes.
parents were, I think, at the early age of 20 when they did their first restaurant, Chin Chin in Pasay Road. So my barkada at that time was the waiters, the
Oh,
cocineros. I'd go to the wet market with,
with them?
with the cocineros.
Oh.
So it was a really good experience. Fast forward to when I had to work with celebrity chef Todd English and his son, I realized that we were called banquet kids, right? We grew up in restaurants, and
There are
that's the
more
reason
people
why
like
I
you.
think I'm more comfortable in the restaurant setting. But yeah, fast forward to today, I think our relationship has been better because it's been more professional,
Oh,
right?
yes, yes.
I think he's realized hindi na kami bata kahit feeling niya anak pa rin niya kami. But before joining the family business, we were required. So all of us are required to work outside of the family business
Okay.
for a few years before entering the family business.
So what did you do?
I worked a few jobs. Well, I was always the guinea pig since I was the panganay. So
Okay.
I worked a few jobs. When I was in San Francisco, I always worked in restaurants. So I was a waiter. I worked in a Jollibee. I worked in a McDonald's. I worked waiter when I was in college. I did sales of LED screens to establishments door to door. I worked in a bank, right?
Okay.
Also,
I
wow.
worked in a bank, and then at the end, I was in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, where I met my wife, and I was operating a hotel in Kuala Lumpur.
I see. So when did you join your father's company?
I would say I never left, right? Because it's a
always
family
there.
business, it's always been there. I'm always tasked to
Okay.
go to business opportunities. So why I was sent to Kuala Lumpur was where we were supposed to bring in an FMCG group from Kuala Lumpur to the Philippines. So I was sent there to explore the business. But I ended up finding a wife. And
Which
ended up
is-
staying there for a good 5 years. But
Yeah.
during that time, that's where I actually met celebrity chef Todd English,
Yes.
which we ended up bringing into the Philippines
yes.
that same year.
Ayun.
Oh, okay.
So there are things that happen there that sabi nga, everything happened for a reason.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's
So
right.
meeting people, including
Yeah.
your
Yes, yes.
wife. Okay. Anyway, so let's talk about the pandemic. How was the restaurant scene changed by that?
I was telling
period?
Jojo that was a tough time. Not only for the industry, but for me personally, mentally, it was very tough. I mean, I think a lot of people were looking at 2019 as their banner year, right? Banner year in 2019, and 2020 was supposed to be record breaking, supposedly. We were slated to open about 36 restaurants that year.
Wow.
From last, I think we did 24, 2019. So we were
Okay.
looking to really outdo ourselves. We had a few projects in line.
In 2020.
In fact, Mesa was supposed to hit a milestone of 100 stores in 2020. But all that stopped. I remember March
Yeah.
16, 2020, the day
yeah.
that we had to close all our restaurants
Yeah, you were
and
hit
send
hard.
home all our employees.
Yeah.
At our peak, we were at about 4,000 employees. At the end of the pandemic, we ended up losing half.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Naturally, or just kind of like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But moving forward, we're now here today. We're back from
Yeah.
pre-pandemic, even better now.
Yeah.
What's good also is that yun nga, so nung nawala yung tao, I guess naging lean ng operations ng restaurants. That now, the sales has to come in first before kami magdagdag ng tao versus dati yung mataba na nagjejeta ngayon. Payat na, sige pwede kang kumain.
Magpapataba.
Pag ano.
Okay, okay. That's a good
How many
analogy.
restaurants do you operate now?
Currently, I think it's about 15 brands across 200 doors.
Ah, marami pa rin. Yeah.
Oo. So, but there were restaurants you really had to close for good.
There were a few. But ginawa namin ng paraan. Mesa, which is our flagship brand, we're by the end of this year we will have 75 stores. So we're
Yeah.
back on track to
With,
hitting 100
100.
stores by
Yeah.
hopefully next year.
Okay, let's pray for that.
So that's also doing quite well. We franchised that brand.
Yeah.
So ang nangyari sa mga nag-close na brands na stores, some of our franchisees was able to acquire.
Okay.
So during the in a pandemic or in times like of crisis, there's always people that can take opportunity depending on what
Right,
position you
yeah.
are at that state of time,
That's right.
So yung mga tao na may pera at that time,
Yeah.
they would have been able to like, maraming naghahanap ng pera, pwede kang mamili, di ba?
Like invest.
So there's always light every time na merong darkness na ganyan.
Tama. It's how
You know,
approach it.
Mesa turned out to be a top
A
a
big
restaurant.
success. A big
yeah.
success.
Correct.
Yeah. The lying is very
Chamba.
good, huh?
The what?
The lying.
The
Their
lying,
is very good.
okay.
They always order that.
Oo.
But the restaurant scene has changed, no? So how is it today? Ano ba ang mga bagong trends that you're keeping up with or that you're introducing?
Well, people are more conscious now, more picky. They know
okay.
what they want. They also know the difference between quality now. Right? Before, I would say na parang because people weren't as exposed, right? I think back in, let's say, 10 years ago, right? When even before these foreign brands started coming in, we were just testing out the water, so to speak, right? We were still sticking to yung panahon na yun, it's the proliferation of Filipino gastropubs, right?
Oo nga.
Diba?
oo,
Yung
oo.
at that time we had Crocodile Grill, right?
Right.
But that time it was more on yung modernization ng beer house. Diba? Upgrading ng beer house standard, right? Making it cool to bring the family, to eat your sisig, to have a few
Yeah,
drinks with
yeah.
barkada. So ganun na give relief. And then moving forward, when we don't want to toot our own horn, but during 2012 when we brought in, the first celebrity chef, the first food hall concept, the first Michelin-starred brand into the country, that same year, biglang sumabog.
That's Tim Ho Wan, no?
Yeah, everyone suddenly kind of like had attention, like,
Yeah.
why suddenly Philippines has these brands opening up?
So parang
Why?
na-elevate ninyo yung market.
I would like to say we had a hand in doing that, in educating them.
Right.
As a group, we always want to do things first. Hindi
Yeah.
kami nanggagaya. Gusto
Okay.
kami nagaya.
Tama.
But yeah, we want to do things first, pero being the first, it's also a little bit difficult because you have to educate the market first. And then, of course, once ikaw yung una, maraming kumukopya sa'yo. And then also, they're probably doing it much better than you also.
You have to
So
be
you
on
always
your
have to
toes.
keep up on your toes and kind of
Yes.
like, maintain the consistency and quality. So far, we have the most number of Michelin-rated brands in the country.
Okay,
Congrats.
aside from
Tim
Tim
Ho
So we
Ho
have Tim
Wan.
Ho Wan, we have Hawker Chan.
Hawker Chan.
Then we have Cam's Rose as well, which is from Hong Kong. So Hawker Chan is a Michelin star from Singapore.
Yes.
Cam's Rose is a Michelin star from Hong Kong.
Okay.
But how do you know when it's time to expand or open new restaurants or bring in new brands?
Simple if it makes money.
So there's really no set
We're
formula.
very conservative, as I
Okay.
mentioned. We're very much family business, family run. we're very conservative as far as growing our business. We want to make sure that it's profitable before we move on. It's much slower, but it's a safer route. I think we've seen a lot of ventures wherein unang gawa nila is scale right away and see which works and which doesn't. And for us, we can't afford to do that. And neither we will, right? We want to make sure that, you know, it has traction, right? Before we actually scale the business. Right?
So I guess it's been very easy for you, but I'm sure there were difficult times also.
Always difficult.
Challenges. What would you consider the top challenges of your
Well,
work?
definitely, there's always that inflation, right? The prices going up. Yung mga sili nating sumisipa ng 800 pesos.
Oh, wow.
One soy at 1.5. Diba? It's those things
Food
that we cannot
prices.
adjust naman. On the restaurant level, hindi naman namin pwede sabihin, oh, tumaas yung sili, tataasan namin kagad yung presyo. We can't react that way. It's not as reactive. So a lot of the things that are in the restaurants are being absorbed, right? Up until na hindi na kaya. Right, which is very difficult when there's fluctuations of that and quality also, right? The quality and consistency, being sure that we're able to, you know, sad to say, a lot of the quality stuff has to be imported. Has to be imported, right? And even the things that you want to buy locally may not be able to handle the volume or consistently handle the volume. Wherein in the restaurant industry, consistency is key.
Right.
So nagkakaroon ng difference na you want consistency, the supplier cannot offer consistency locally.
What do you do?
So you have to take, you know, abroad. Mas consistent yung supply. Yun lang, you have to do advance. It's always frozen, it's always ano, but you know, it's tough to say, right? I would want to buy locally, but yun nga, even our produce is substandard.
Well, some restaurateurs have taken to developing their own farms and livestock, di ba? Is that something, direction
We've explored
that
that
you're
at one point na parang, okay, grow me this particular crop, bibiling ko yan lahat. Easier said than done. But yes, there are a lot of other groups that I know of that parang contract their farms and all that at that volume. Yes, at a certain volume, I think that's something that we can consider. But yeah, I guess everyone's kind of like working towards getting our produce up and be able to deliver across the country.
Yeah. So, how are you enjoying? What aspects of your work do you enjoy, and which aspects
are
do
very
you?
challenging, remain to be very
Well, as you can see, I love to eat. My life revolves around food.
Okay.
The family's life revolves around food.
Yeah, later let's ask
24/7 pinapag-usapan namin food.
food.
Right? Our planning when we travel revolves around, okay, dito tayo kakain, yung activities na gagawin natin within that area lang. Right? So, it revolves around the food destination first. So, that's how we
So
travel.
interesting.
So that's the fun part. I mean,
Okay.
when people look at my socials, they would say, "Oy, sarap ng buhay mo, kumakain ka sa restaurant araw-araw, hindi ka umuuli." Sabi ko, hindi, trabaho yan. Someone's got to do it.
Okay.
But on the other side, it is also the thing that I hate the most, is eating every day. As much as my wife would say she wants me to diet and be healthier, it's very difficult in my line of work. I
Oh,
mean,
yes.
I don't know if you've heard of the saying, never trust a skinny chef.
Yes, I have. I've
Diba?
heard
So
of
parang
that.
ganun lang yun. Like, you know, I go out every day to eat in different restaurants. Hindi ako umuulit ng restaurant. And that's because I want to learn something. Right? It's really about it's about learning parang anong ginagawa ng iba, paano ginagawa ng iba. Again, like I said, we always have to be on your toes. Tumatanda na ako, hindi na ako cool. Right? As much as I want to be the cool person in the room, you're no longer that. Right? Tapos na ang panahon mo. Right? So, we're trying to make sure lang, okay, kaya pa natin to, right? But listening to what the younger generation is saying, what they want, it's a very different market altogether. It's very experiential. They're very about kind of like, you know, so that's the difficult part. We
Experience.
need to,
It's not
ako
just
kailangan ko
eating.
kumain sa labas, kailangan ko makita competitors, I need to try everything. So, that is also the hard part of the job.
That's right. Yeah.
So Eric, let's talk more about that after
Sure.
a short commercial break. We'll be right back.
This break is brought to you by Hangkas, Beat the Traffic, Bayad Center, hashtag Bigger Better Younger Bayad, and you can buy it all. Conti's Bake Shop and Restaurant, delightfully yours. Globe, atin ang mundo. Meralco, ang liwanag ng bukas. SM, we've got it all for you. Smart, live more today. Union Bank, it starts with you. And Tata Consultancy Services. A wellness show dedicated to empowering viewers with the knowledge and inspiration needed to lead a healthy lifestyle. Be Well Now, hosted by Miss Cory Crino, every Wednesday at 2 p.m. only here at Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube.
Arayan at talakayang showbiz, times 2, doble-doble! Kasama ang dalawa sa walang kupas na talakera ng showbiz, Alwin Ignacio at Alex Brosas. DTT Show, tuwing Sabado at Linggo, alas 4 ng hapon, dito lang sa Diaryo Tirada ng Daily Tribune. Conversations that are masterclasses from the top honchos of various industries. Learn from their strategies and insights so you yourself can unlock your full potential. Pairfect, every Friday at 2 p.m., only here on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube. Creative minds, entertainment icons, style influencers. We shine the spotlight on remarkable individuals who shape our cultural landscape. Every Tuesday at 2 p.m., only here in Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube. Straight Talk dives deep into present issues of leadership, politics, business, and more. Engage in insightful conversations with industry shakers, government leaders, and trailblazers every Wednesday at 10 a.m. only here on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube.
Welcome back to Pairfect. We're still with Mr. Eric D. of Foodee Global Concepts. So you were telling us before we took a break about your line of work, what you do for a living, and that's to eat and eat and eat. It's both good and bad in a way. But so I'm curious. So you're the person to ask pala, where should we eat next? Ganun, di ba?
Well,
Other than your restaurant.
of course, I will promote my own restaurants, but
Yeah.
I'm saying is that, well, our recent opening in Araneta Gateway 2.
Yeah.
So free plug for Araneta
Yes.
Gateway 2.
Let's, let's go there.
But it's a new mall, but galing ng lineup nila. Like I said,
sa
they
selection.
were able to bring all the premium brands from Makati to Cubao.
Oh.
And they're positioning it as a premium lifestyle destination for the people of Cubao.
Of Cubao, of Quezon City, actually.
Correct,
New
correct.
Manila.
Yes,
you know.
yes.
Even Corinthian can
Yes, yes.
go there.
Actually, it's
na.
very
Basta wala lang baha.
successful. At traffic. Anyway, yun. So,
So, do you cook? I'm just curious.
I was talking about this earlier. With most of the brands that we bring in, I
Okay.
personally actually train with the chefs as well.
Oh.
So when we brought in the Todd English Food Hall, I brought a couple of our chefs. We stayed in New York for about 3 months.
Learning
to learn the operations, the menus, and everything. When we opened Tim Ho Wan, I was living in Hong Kong for about a month and a half. When we opened this Michelin star Italian restaurant from Milan, we lived there for 3 months as well. So I did not go to the to culinary school, but I learned from the best
A
chefs.
lot.
yes, you're
Yeah.
So I
immersed.
actually, if I have to write my resume of which chefs I've trained with, I have an all-star cast in my
galing.
resume. So I guess I picked it up from there. Also, very
Okay.
foodie talaga ako. Pinapanood, hindi ako nanonood ng news. Pinapanood ko Food Channel.
But what kind of food do you like to eat when you're on your own? And you're
Unfortunately, for
craving?
myself, I like fast food.
Talaga.
I like fast food. I'm exposed too much on, like, at the end of the day, my wife will always say, what? You're in the restaurant, you can eat anything you want, and then you'll go home and have fast food. Right?
Parang mga
But
chef.
it's comforting for me. Parang, okay, yung mga
It's like a
fancy,
break
fancy. I
from-
just want a simple burger, spaghetti, fried chicken, yan.
Nice
But
to know, nice to know.
Chinese food ako, sweet and sour pork and fried
sarap.
rice.
Ayan.
So that's kind of like my,
Your
but,
comfort food.
yeah.
What do you cook for your family? Like during the
Oh,
pandemic?
I went extreme with my family. Sky's the limit for the family.
Ah,
Because
really?
I mean, we're very foodie. So during the pandemic also, a lot of the suppliers of restaurants had to end up doing B2C right? They were B2B before, going straight to the restaurants, but during the pandemic, all restaurants closed.
Yeah.
So nakita mo, nagsulputan lahat ng suppliers online.
Yeah.
So it was a fun time for us to look at suppliers, test their products, and then yun pinagluto ko from air-flown sashimi from Japan to prime rib steaks to isaw.
Try
from,
everything
diba?
talaga, no?
Everything.
Oh. Well, you've been in this business for quite a long time since you were
Yeah.
a kid, running around in the kitchen, actually. What have been some of your biggest learning experiences in running a food conglomerate?
It's tough. You really have to like the job. You really have to, I was saying earlier, it's tough right now to hire.
Right.
If people can find jobs that are paying more than minimum wage and they don't have to work on weekends, the restaurant industry is definitely not for them. We're the busiest on a weekend. We're the busiest when everyone is on a holiday. So it's a different commitment.
Yeah,
In fact,
baliktad ang
we're
buhay.
seeing nga na parang pag nag-hire kami ng mga newer generation now, parang hindi ata nila alam na gano'n ang buhay. Parang kala nila parang, no, Sunday, everyone works in a restaurant. Right? So,
Holidays.
it's a different. So, tawag nga nila chef life. That you really have to know na ganun talaga. So, it's a little bit tough on that side. Growing the business has been exciting, but also, of course, bilog ang bola. You're not always on top. We will have some failures, but I think reacting to that failure and how you kind of succeed from that
Yeah.
is much more important, right? We've closed restaurants, but we've regained our poise and reopened restaurants and in a better shape now,
Yeah.
right?
So bounce back.
The
with
failures only
attitude.
told you the failures only taught you how to do it differently, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the attitude.
That you're able to survive and move on and surpass all
Learn,
these challenges. You must have learned a lot from your dad, who started it all. What did you learn from him? And what is it that you don't like about the way he runs things?
Well, I've learned everything from him, not only in business, but being a family man, but being a good husband. We live together, by the way.
Okay.
We've
okay.
always lived together, our whole family.
Talaga?
Yeah.
Close.
So
talaga.
my whole family, my
He wants
my
it
dad,
that
mom,
way.
me, my wife, all my kids, my brother, the wife, all his kids, my sister, his husband, all their kids. We all live in one house
Okay.
Okay.
ever since.
Is it a peaceful setting?
Peaceful existence.
Like I said, we've been used to it.
Oh.
I think the house is big enough naman.
It should be.
So it's
How
been
many kitchens do you have in your house?
madami. So we have our own wings.
Okay.
So pwede naman kami hindi magkita. But what I'm saying is that
It's like one.
our business has always been on our family's strength. That's always been kind of like what we portray
How
a good
in
interesting.
public, and that's how we really are. We're not like kunaring chummy na family. We actually live together. And I feel that, some people are like, how does that happen? Like you live with your in-laws or you live with another, but
It's possible.
it's a fun mess. It's a fun mess.
Yeah,
It really
yeah,
is. Like
that's
the
right.
kids also, the cousins are close. And we want to continue that because of what we felt during our generation, wherein our closeness actually led us to success. And that's what we want to pass on to our kids na cousins na lang sila, na hindi sila magkakapatid. But we want them to have that closeness, right? Like if you look at all the successful families in this country, it was always revolving around a strong family foundation.
Yes.
Right?
True.
How does the family escape from their work? I mean, from food and restaurants.
Like
What do
Our
you do
escape is
outside
still
of-
food and restaurants. But our escape
like-
is traveling.
I
Ah,
see.
yes.
But
we
you
travel-
still explore food.
Siyempre.
Yeah. We travel as a family whole. We don't take the same flights, of course.
Yes.
But every quarter we have a family thing. Every quarter we take these opportunities of family travel to do our family forum. So we have a forum format
That's
wherein
important.
we talk about business, life, and no in-laws included. It's just immediate
Just
family.
the immediate.
Just talking about how the business is, how your family is, how your personal life is, and anything you want to raise, right? As far as like,
That's a
family
regular
and work.
thing every
That is
year.
a regular thing that we do.
Do you also
Good
visit
practice.
museums, parks, and
Food museum,
Parks.
food park. But yes, we are trying to include some natureness into our trips, but so far our camping is filled with food still.
Oh, ang saya, no?
Actually, I would love to belong to their family.
Magpapa-adapt na si Jojo. So, who's your biggest role model? Is it your dad?
Obviously, it's my dad, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's my parents in general. I think I wasn't the best child growing up. Of course, as I realized it's like when they were 20 years old, I was 2 years old. Like ngayon, if I had a kid at 20,
What were you like at 20?
I was like, I couldn't even comprehend, right? So now I'm thankful of what they've done, Now I'm returning the favor. Now I'm becoming the good obedient son, right? But really, it was, raising kids, kind of making sure that they're good at what they do. I think that's a feat, and I look up to them for being able to do that. And hopefully I can do that for my kids too.
Okay.
Have you had to do a lot of learning to become a good leader? I mean, you're dealing with chefs, with
A big
yeah.
operation.
I believe leaders are born.
Okay.
I always felt in myself that I had to be leading someone, leading something, leading a role. I was in grade school. I was
Talaga?
I was already
Always
I
the
was always like
president.
not president, vice president.
Ay.
Oo, mga
Kasi ako
ganon.
ay, hindi. Always vice president, supporting. But always in that leadership role, right? I also feel that seeing my parents grow the business from a single store to what we are today,
Yeah.
200 strong with 4,000
I know,
employees,
it's amazing.
Yeah.
I saw everything from the ground up. Like,
Oh, wow.
when we were still hanging out with the cocineros and whatnot to now having, foreign chefs working under us. Diba? It's a good feeling, right? But
Tremendous.
yeah.
Is it a tall order to be known as someone whose family owns all these restaurants? Do your friends expect you to bring food to
All the time.
contribute to potluck?
Expected yan, expected. But also, I mean, being in the restaurant, we're natural entertainers, right? Part of the,
Hosting people.
this is where I meet most of my now friends, like, through the restaurants, right? You meet them, kind of like have small chat with them, ended up being close friends, right? But yeah, it's all about, entertaining. So yeah, it's kind of expected. But ako rin naman, when I invite people, I know that they expect
want-
something from me. So kailangan na naman. Kailangan live up to the expectation.
Right,
but
right.
but I like it. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
enjoy
really
it
a
naman.
part of your parang DNA na yan.
I enjoy it naman. So
Okay.
Besides, they're the ones who patronize restaurants. Then.
Exactly,
Oo nga eh,
exactly.
diba? What better way?
marketing na rin, marketing.
Yeah,
Tama,
yeah, that's right.
So let's talk some more about that and other
Yeah.
things after
Yeah,
a
a lot.
short break.
Sure.
This break is brought to you by Angkas, Beat the Traffic, Bayad Center, #Bigger Better Younger Bayad, and you can buy it all. Conti's Bake Shop and Restaurant, delightfully yours. Globe, atin ang mundo. Meralco, ang liwanag ng bukas. SM, we've got it all for you. Smart, live more today. Union Bank, it starts with you. And Tata Consultancy Services.
A wellness show dedicated to empowering viewers with the knowledge and inspiration needed to lead a healthy lifestyle. Be Well Now, hosted by Miss Cory Crino, every Wednesday at 2 p.m. only here at Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube. Arayan at talakayang showbiz, ×2, doble-doble! Kasama ang dalawa sa walang kupas na talakera ng showbiz, Alwin Ignacio at Alex Brosas. DTT Show, tuwing Sabado at Linggo, alas 4 ng hapon, dito lang sa Diaryo Tirada ng Daily Tribune. Conversations that are masterclasses from the top honchos of various industries. Learn from their strategies and insights so you yourself can unlock your full potential. Pairfect, every Friday at 2 p.m., only here on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube. Creative minds, entertainment icons, style influencers. We shine the spotlight on remarkable individuals who shape our cultural landscape. Every Tuesday at 2 p.m., only here in Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube.
Straight Talk dives deep into present issues of leadership, politics, business, and more. Engage in insightful conversations with industry shakers, government leaders, and trailblazers every Wednesday at 10 a.m. only here on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube.
Welcome back to Pairfect. We're still with Eric D, who's one of our top restaurateurs in the country. And I was wondering how he's like as a father. How are you with your children, Eric?
I would like to say a good father.
I'm
but
sure you are. I'm sure.
definitely different. And like I said, since we live in one household,
Yes.
nakikita namin yung difference kung how we raise our kids, right? As I was growing up, I told you I lived in a restaurant. My barkada was all the cocineros and the waiters, right? My kids never had to experience that, right? Now I'm having to bring them to job sites to show them like, oh, this is what we do, this is what we're constructing, this is what our life, why we have this life is because of all this, right? So we're teaching them now, exposing them, and because I credit my success is because I was exposed very early.
Yes.
I started working summer jobs in restaurants ever since I was 12.
Oh.
I worked in a McDo, Jollibee, and after that in my dad's restaurants. But I worked in cold kitchen. My first job was a dishwasher.
Oh.
So
Ang galing, no? From ano talaga.
So,
From the-
I want to be
ground
able
up.
to instill that. But yun nga, easier said than done. Ngayon sila parang, no, mainit. I'm like, oh my God.
Resistant sila.
So we're trying to get them to learn more. But yeah, for me now, like I said, parang we want to focus more on what their capabilities are. I think that's what also my father was able to do and distinguish between us siblings is that he brought up all alphas, right? We can't work together. Definitely. Sasabog yun. We have to handle our own aspects of the business because he brought us up as all alphas. How can you put all alphas together?
Can't.
Wala. Hindi
There's
pwede.
going to be a clash.
So that's just kind of like a way of like utilizing what their strengths are and putting them in the right position. Kasi mahirap ipilit. Right? Mahirap ipilit ang things that kung hindi mo gugustuhin, then hindi rin magiging, you know, like you'll always
You're
hear
not gonna
like,
last.
kids complaining about, oh, my dad made me do this. Like, I don't complain because I like what I'm doing. So I think that's very important.
Yeah.
Ang galing.
Are the kids glued to their cell
Gadgets.
phones and
I
laptops?
try to stop it. Like
gadgets.
everyone's like saying bawal or wag ipaggawin, but actually as you become a parent and you know that it's the only one to keep them quiet, you'll do it. But we manage again. It's about balance, right?
Yeah.
Timing their gadget use, making sure that every gadget use is because you did something, you know. So.
I think what's important is you get to spend a lot of time with them, and I think that balance is there. Ano naman.
Yeah, I think
Diba,
actually,
there-
you know, for a lot of people, the pandemic was tough, but you can also look at the brighter side and say that that was unprecedented time with the family. And for people like, for families like us that were very close to family, that was godsend. Like, oh my God, to be with our family together. Like, yeah, might sound an exaggeration, but it was a fun time for us as family because we were all together. Again, we were
masaya.
15 in one household. If you include all our nannies and all that, we're like 25.
least, yeah.
Wow, parang isang community talaga.
So we're one community.
It wasn't really a very sad time.
Yeah,
Yeah, fun. Long vacation. ganun.
What do
Anyway,
you, sorry.
go.
What do you do outside of, I mean, what's your corporate social responsibility? How do you benefit?
Because we're in food, we have it's been ongoing and it will be officially launched, I think in November 10.
Okay.
It's for my dad's birthday.
Oh,
But it's been ongoing. It's called Feed. So Foundation of Enrico
So
and
you put
Elizabeth
up a
D.
foundation.
oh, Enrico and
Galing.
Elizabeth
Is my
are.
parents. So Ricky and
okay.
Beng, but actually their documented names are Enrico
Enrico
and
And
Elizabeth. D.
Elizabeth.
So all of us are. You will find that we are two Eric D's. There are two Erica D's. So we're all named
Okay.
Eric D, Eric D,
Okay.
Erica D, Erica D.
So,
But yeah, so we have this Foundation of Enrico and Elizabeth D, which is our feeding program. So we have
nice.
a food truck that will
Nice.
go around to feed. I mean, you know, there's a lot of food wasted.
Yeah.
Rather than mapunta sa waste,
Okay,
we
yeah.
want to make sure that we gave back to the community. During the pandemic, we fed about 20,000 plus meals during the
Nice.
pandemic to the frontliners. You know, we were with Ding Dong Dantes. I personally went out. I was like, Dong, labas tayo.
Your friends.
Let's he's our brand ambassador for Mesa.
Ayan,
Oh,
diba?
okay.
Reason, I
So
remember
Mesa
that
is
event.
so Ding Dong Dantes has been the brand ambassador for Mesa for a couple of years now. On our way to Road to 100 program.
Yes.
So yeah, during that time, sabi ko, let's do something, diba? We're into food, you know. So we went out, we gave away food, and you know, it was a good feeling, right, to be
Yeah.
able to help, and I think that's where we will continue to focus a lot of our CSR programs. More than that, we're also looking into, we're discussing it with, you know, other agencies as well and LGUs. We want to look for the next street food and turn it into, like, you know, you see on TikTok now, lahat nagwa-viral yung mga street food na nandyan. So the idea of being able to take those from the street and take them, you know, to the next level.
How do you plan to do that?
I think we have the capabilities of doing so. We are already parang, so we've done this a couple years back, but I think it was quite early. So it's our idea of kind of like venture capitalists for food. So we're kind of looking for the next food startup that we can take to the next level.
galing.
But rather than more just the startup, what I'm looking for is really taking food from the street, which was the original concept of Foodee Global. When my parents started the business, it was really, how do we convert parang, you know, street food into what it is in ano, kasi parang at that time in Pasay there's a place called Estero where doon yung mga Chinese food. So they just took that and put it in an SM North EDSA, and the rest is history.
Okay.
Right? So that idea, we want to, you know, I want to kind of like take that legacy of reminding us that we can take these street food and take it to the next level, like, you know, mga Kanto fried chicken, yung mga gyms,
Yes,
mga paresan that's been putting out everywhere.
Yeah, and very
so we want to be
successful.
able to kind of like say, okay, audition kayo, show us your food. It's a win-win situation.
Wow.
We want to discover these food brands. They want to be discovered. They want to take it to the next level. So that's
Maganda
something
naman.
within the pipeline that we're doing. Like I said, we've done it previously, so it's kind of just redoing that, and maybe there's a, you know, the first Philippine hawker center in the, you know,
Nice.
Wow.
I'm glad you're looking into our country naman, what
Yeah.
we have to offer. That's a good.
Because I personally go around, and I also have a TikTok company wherein we kind of like bring the kids around, and then we go through these places. So kumakain ako nitong mga gyms, pares, canfry. Lahat ng mga nagva-viral niya, kinakainan ko. So
Okay.
that's why I want to alam
That's
mo
a good
marami
idea.
dito are illegal pa.
Okay.
So there was one
Oo,
place that I was like,
syempre.
syempre sa kalye lang sila. Pangalan niya, Kanto Fried Chicken. Eh, pag wala na siya sa Kanto. Diba? Parang that's branding, right? So, haba ng pila niya, I went to that particular store.
Really?
Pagdating ko doon, ni-raid siya.
Oh my God.
So,
Sayang
you know,
naman.
you would see his videos online that how happy he was about selling his fried chicken, how his customers were really waiting in line. So, that's where I felt that parang there's something that can be done, right?
They could be helped.
I don't know if you've been to Ugbo
No.
in Tondo.
In Tondo, I've heard
But you've
about
heard
it.
If you've been to Ugbo in Tondo,
Have you been there?
it's the best.
Wow.
I'm telling you, as Filipinos, no one goes to Tondo because of the misconception.
Right.
Well, not misconception. Because of the na hold up
Reputation.
ka or you know, there's that reputation, right? But if you go there, lahat ng foreigner nandun.
Masasarap yung
okay.
food
We
talaga.
should
The
doon.
food there,
Yeah.
man, yung
Can you-
pinuntahan
can
yung
you-
mga
can-
famous
let's
na
take
tumbong
Eric with
soup. I went there. Kasama ko yung mga TikTokers. We went all around. I went there on a weekday. I tell you, parang sabi
Gabi
ko
yan.
parang dapat walang tao. Pagdating namin, siguro mga 1,500 na tao.
But what
just on
time
the
was that?
street.
Gabi, no?
5 p.m. onwards.
Yeah,
The street
yeah,
closes.
I heard.
And it's maybe hundreds stalls.
Wow,
Of
ganun
food.
pala.
Sige, let's check
There's
it
the
out.
famous halo-halo there na magkaaway na magkatabi.
Ah, really?
Same name, same lola, same family, magkatabi sila. Parehong the original.
Okay.
So it's really fun. Like, and that's where I'm saying, like, di ba, parang more exposure to places. Like tayo, pumupunta tayo sa ibang bansa, like Taiwan, or
Yeah, we
pumupunta
visit
tayo
their
ng
street
Bangkok
food.
to visit their night markets and street food.
Yeah.
But no one has been to Ugbo.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a good
It's
We should
it's
go to
actually
Cebu.
super nice. I think it should have more limelight given to it. Like it should be, parang ang dami natin ganyan na
We'll
pwedeng gawin.
definitely check it
I
out.
think in
no?
Marikina Riverbanks is another story.
yes.
So that used to be an illegal
Space.
parang space for selling that. But now the LGUs realized na parang, uy,
It can be
it's
a draw.
drawing traffic to Marikina. Ngayon,
Right.
ang haba nun.
Okay.
It's
we
lesson
should-
for you. Oh my gosh, Eric, it's been such fun talking with
Thank
you.
you.
I
Yeah,
wish we
yeah.
could have more time, but
Yeah.
before we say goodbye for this afternoon, would you like to invite our viewers to your
Yeah, so
restaurants?
come visit our stores. We're Foodie Global Concept. So we have Mesa, Tim Ho Wan, Hawker Chan, Pound. We have Sunny's Cafe. We have Yao Yao, which is our frozen yogurt, and a lot more. So come check our website to know our locations and our brands.
Okay. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
thank you everyone for watching Pairfect this afternoon. We'll be back next week. Once again, I am Dinah Ventura,
I'm Jojo Silvestre.
and this has been Pairfect.
Perfect.